I would like to introduce Alana, who's going to share with us I think it's a Netflix series on the Crown. Alana, please.
Thank you. Thanks so much for that really nice introduction. So welcome everyone to today's special event. It's going to be on the topic of the Netflix series, The Crown. But don't worry if you haven't seen it or if you're not quite sure what it is. So we're going to be watching a few clips from that series today. So welcome everyone, and we'll get started. So firstly, a little bit about what The Crown is about. It is a drama. It is based on the story of Queen Elizabeth II and her family. So the Queen who we all know and unfortunately passed a couple of years ago. It's about her and the royal family in the UK. This series has been running since 2016, but it's set between the years of 1947 to the present day. Okay, so it's still ongoing now. They're still releasing new series. But it starts right at the beginning when Queen Elizabeth was younger. It shows important events in British history and how the Queen and how the family deal with them. Okay, so we know what it's about. We're looking at some characters in particular today. So that's Queen Elizabeth II, also Prince Philip, so that is her husband. So we don't call him King Philip, so just Prince Philip when they're married to the Queen. And also the Queen's son, so Prince Charles, who is now King Charles, right? King Charles. And his ex-wife, right? We all know Princess Diana. So that here are some nice pictures here of the real life royal family. So here's the Queen on the right, and here's the actress who plays her on the left. So you can see there's quite a good likeness to those characters in this series. On the right as well, that's the real Diana and Charles on the right, and then the actors on the left there. So the series mostly focuses on those members of the royal family and some politicians as well, because it's also about the real life events, about history. So it focuses also on some British prime ministers. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about why I like this series in particular. So of course, for all the drama, of course, that's always fun to watch a series with a lot's going on. We obviously hear about these stories in the media, but it's nice to see it dramatized. At some points, I actually felt kind of maybe even sorry for some of the characters. You know, we think, oh, they're rich, they're royal, they're fine, like, you know, they're in the public eye, but some of the storylines are quite hard, and you see their real struggles with dealing with life in the public eye, but also their personal lives, right? It's their life and their job kind of combined in one. So that was quite an interesting aspect for me. Also, as we saw some pictures just a second ago, the likeness to the historical events. So obviously some scenes are more fictional. They had to add some scenes for drama, but you know, we like to think that most of it is true. Most of it happened in real life. The costumes are very, very nice. Here we can see, I'll show you in a second, some more pictures of those costumes and the likeness to what the actual people look like, right? What they actually wore. The acting's great. There's some well-known actors and actresses in this series too. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at those pictures. So we can see here some real similar images to what these scenes actually look like. The first one at the top, so this is the Queen. She's wearing rather a fetching kind of hat. It's probably in the 70s, perhaps some year around then. And this one is
Margaret Thatcher in this.
Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, great. So that's on the right. So is Margaret Thatcher the one on the left or the one on the right, do you think, in this picture?
On the right.
On the right, yeah, definitely. Does anyone recognize this lady with the Queen in the bottom right picture?
From this angle, it looks like Jackie Onassis. Isn't that JFK's wife?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's when the Queen met Jackie Kennedy, right? And JFK's wife. and it also documents that moment
Wow.
when he was shot
I
and
guess
their
his
relationship.
husband in office was very happy because she feels she was a princess or something like that. She was the royalty
Mhm.
of America.
Mm, exactly, like the first lady, right? The president, the first lady. So I guess they all intermingle and have these fancy dinner parties. So you can see that side of what goes on inside the palace, perhaps, in that series as well. So it's quite interesting. And here in the top picture as well, this is another kind of important event. So this is like the inauguration of the Prince of Wales. So the Queen's son, Prince Charles, becoming the Prince of Wales. Way back when he was young, more or less handsome, and yeah, that's that ceremony. But we can see the likeness there. So let's move on to some clips now. But before we have a look at that clip, I'm just going to give you a little introduction of what this is about. Perhaps I'll ask one of you to read this introduction for us as well. Dilora, hi Dilora. Would you like to read for us this text about what this clip is going to be about?
This clip shows a rare moment in which the queen loses her temper, gets angry with her husband, Prince Philip. It demonstrates how they, as the rest of us, have occasional material disagreements. However, for them, they can be made quite public.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's have a think about that then. So if you lose your temper, it means you get angry with someone, right? And you have occasional, this word as well is marital disagreements. What could that mean? Marital disagreements. Any ideas?
So I think that there were very disagreements because he started to show a typical behavior for a husband, let's say that way.
Right. Yeah.
Diplomatically, he started to do a lot of things, be out of the house for
Right.
large periods of time, the whole weekend with friends, enjoying some men clubs and other things.
There were some rumors, right? Yeah, you're not wrong. So yeah, perhaps he. Very good. So a lot of disputes came because of that, right? Because I guess she was the boss, the head of the the household, the head of the country, and he sometimes had some issues with that. Very good. So yeah, so just a marital disagreement then is a disagreement with someone you're married to. So that word marital is connected to being married, right? So that's when we say in a relationship, they can have some disagreements. So like the rest of us, I guess, just a few words before we watch it, just so we understand. Let's have a read of this vocabulary. Natalie, would you like to read these words, please?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
I'll try. Bravo,
Good.
ticked every box, never put a foot wrong.
Very good. Yeah. So if something ticks every box, what do you think that could mean?
What Professor Korten says about you. You tick every box.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So something you can tick it off literally or check it off, right? Like that. Very good. So if you tick every box, you do everything perfectly, which I definitely don't do. Okay, let's just go back a second. So to put your foot in it, that's a really nice phrase, but that would actually mean a bit more like to say something wrong.
Mistake. Never commit a mistake.
Yeah, and to yeah, exactly. So the phrase we're looking at here, to never put a foot wrong, I'll just write it in the chat, is yeah, to never make a mistake. So always stick to the rules, yeah. So let's watch this clip then, and you can also listen out for those phrases and just see what's going on here.
What is it you're trying to prove? What is it you want to hear him say? Bravo, Lillibut. Managed the whole tour. Lillibut never lets you down. Ticked every box. Never put a foot wrong. Now, finally, I love you more than I love Margaret. Oh, that means happy. Get out! Me, woman.
Don't you ridiculous.
Back here! Christ!
So what was happening there? So they were arguing. Mhm.
Yes, arguing and misunderstanding and
Yeah.
rudeness.
Definitely wasn't very polite. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. The
The queen
paparazzi.
lost her temper, which is something very out of ordinary, out of order.
Oh, we
Yes,
think so, right? Yeah.
because we have to perform a personage continuously the whole time.
Mhm. Yeah, to
So
put on a
what
front, you could say.
exactly? So what Phillips said to her make her angry, and she lose her temper. Maybe it is one of the few times you can see her losing her temper.
We also say, we have a nice phrase, we talk about the British stiff upper lip. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before, or I'll just write it for you. So that's a kind of a stereotype that we have, that the British don't like to show their emotions so much, right? We try to hide things and say, oh, I'm okay, perhaps not as emotionally open, yeah, as other nations. Especially the Queen, she had to like remain calm and not show even happy or sad emotions often, right? So it was very rare to see them arguing. So yeah, so Natalie mentioned what actually happened next in that scene was that the Queen went over to the journalist and asked for the tape. Yeah, and they gave it to her. So that was quite interesting, right? So let's think about that for a moment. Let me ask, is it Irina?
Irina, yeah.
Irina, okay. So what do you think? Would the journalists today give back the tape if they caught on camera some famous people arguing, or do you think they would do
I
something?
think that they were doing their job, but at the same time, they felt embarrassed when they witnessed such an awkward situation for the royal family. And I think while doing this job, they knew that they were strong personalities both. And but to be like witnesses of such an embarrassing situation, it's embarrassing, and at the same time they had to do it because they were doing just they did what they had to do.
Today, maybe the paparazzi, the journalists, do you think they would just post it on social media straight away? They wouldn't, yeah, they wouldn't wait for the okay, right? They would just publish it. Okay, so maybe let's move on to our second clip. Natalie, would you like to read this one, please?
Yeah, sure. This scene depicts Princess Diana watching TV at Kensington Palace, right?
Yeah,
Whilst a debate comes on about the future of the monarchy, royal family. It takes place after her divorce from Prince Charles. Vocabulary and phrases.
Go ahead, yeah.
Astronomical costs. My contention is a draft country.
Very good. Okay. So in the scene, Diana is watching TV. There's a debate on the TV. And at this point, it's after her divorce. So she's been married to Prince Charles, and now she's rather alone. Okay, let's think about some of these words and phrases then before we begin. If something costs an astronomical amount, or if the costs are astronomical, does anyone have an idea of what that could mean? Astronomical.
An astronomical, huge amount of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
The crown.
So very, very expensive, right? This one, huge amount, just like Patricia said. How about this phrase here? My contention is. If they said, my contention is, what do we think that means? Anyone have any ideas?
I think it's like my concern is, my idea is, my conclusion is.
Very
when
good.
you are
yes,
when you after some argument, you just want to make your conclusion, your decision, your idea concerning something, maybe like this.
Exactly. Great. So it's like when you have something against some idea as well. So it's like my idea, but my kind of contra idea to that. So perhaps that's why it begins with con as well. So yeah, so my contention is when someone wants to introduce their contrapoint, and if someone calls your country a drab country, what do we think they mean by that?
I do not know.
Not sure. Okay, so I can tell you about this one. Drab is a bit dull, boring. Maybe if you wear drab clothes, it's like you wear very dark colors. Once again,
Monotonous.
monotonous. Yeah, if something is drab, it's boring. But usually things look quite drab. So like dull colors.
Dull, right?
Sorry,
Dull as
Natalie.
well.
Dull, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to just play this one here.
In the future of the monarchy. These two telephone numbers will stay on screen throughout the program as we ask, do you want a monarchy? Don't forget, there are 14,000 lines open, and they'll be open all through News at 10.
The real reason why this program's on is because we're facing the prospect of Charles III. And that is why people want to choose their next head of state.
The overall public feeling is that the royals are failing us.
The fact is that the cost of the House of Windsor compared to the cost of any other monarchy in Europe is astronomical.
Let the Windsors, let them retire, let them go away, marry whom they choose while we choose our own head of state and not by
You have voted no.
Quickly, are they voting for money?
My contention is this would be a very grey and drab country without the colour that the royal family brings to it.
Okay, we'll stop that one there. Because the people... What was happening in that scene? Diloran, what do you think? Can you tell us what you saw in that scene?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand clearly, but if I'm not mistaken, there is some discussion about royal family and about their astronomic costs. And
very good.
Princess Diana, she's trying to contact by phone.
Exactly, yeah. There is like a vote, right, for people to call and say yes or no for the monarchy. And she's calling and saying no, right? So she doesn't want the monarchy. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Maybe she was in some emotion, and she just was divorced. She was disagree with monarchy, and that is why she voted as no.
Yeah, very good. I think it's quite funny too how she's actually calling from one of the palaces, right, and using the palace phone to actually call and vote for that. It is said that this scene maybe isn't real, and maybe it's fictional, right? We don't know for sure, but it's a kind of funny one anyway. So let's think about some questions connected to this scene. Charlotte, how do you think Diana is feeling in that scene?
Worried.
She was worried.
And I think she was ambitious.
Okay, right, yeah. Why was she ambitious? Why do you think she's ambitious?
She wanted to call and said no.
Yeah, or she was maybe she was determined, right?
I would like to add a couple of words. Excited, thrilled, and rebellious, maybe. I feel these emotions as well.
Yeah, she was feeling rebellious. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. So yeah, okay. Very good. We're going to move on then to our third and final clip. Now, there are some more advanced words in this one, but stay with us. We're going to, if you don't understand everything, it's not the most important thing. We're going to watch the clip and think about the scene. So this is about leadership and responsibility. Irina, would you like to read this text, please?
Okay, thank you. This clip shows an older queen talking with her younger self as she battles with a decision to step down or resign, abdicate. Yeah.
Good. Great.
Her younger self is reminding her why she must remain as queen.
Very
And
good.
then intermediate vocabulary: permanent, stability, continuity, yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Liberated,
Mhm.
confident,
Great.
oath, geriatric, birthright, straining at the leash, to be in your prime, superannuated.
Superannuated.
Superannuated, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So great. Yeah, really good job at reading those. They're not easy. So let's have a think about this. This word abdicate is used specifically for when someone steps down as the head of the royal family. So queens and kings, they can abdicate, okay? Or more informally, we can say to step down, or perhaps resign, like you resign from a job, right? Or a position. There are a few different words here. Maybe we'll just go through one or two. For example, stability. Okay, if you have stability, it's kind of like something is stable, something is not moving. The continuity we already said. So these three are kind of like, they're quite similar. Yeah, it means all the time the same. Liberated. If you feel liberated, how do you feel? Yeah.
Liberated, release. Yeah.
Yeah, release. That's a good word. Like free, confident.
When you know what to do, it's something confident.
Very good. You're sure, yeah, with your decisions, something like that. Maybe I was thinking it's the opposite of shy as well. If you take an oath, you take like a vow. Very good.
Vow.
Usually maybe in a religious place, right? Or maybe in a court. Yeah, you would take an oath. Okay, sounds like you know that one. If you're geriatric, are you very young or very old?
Old.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of another word for old. Good. Your birthright, right? So the royal family, they're born into their positions, yeah, and so you don't become a member unless you marry into it, of course, but it's your right at birth. So you're born a future king or queen, right? So if someone's straining at the leash, they're trying to get away, right? They're trying to break out, yeah. So that's quite a nice kind of imagery we have there. To be in your prime.
To be in your prime means to be in the best moment you can be.
Exactly, like the top of your game, right? So maybe you're younger, you have more energy, that kind of thing. Okay, and the final tricky word, superannuated. So if something's superannuated, it's kind of like obsolete. This would be a nice synonym for it. Obsolete. Not useful, or maybe too old.
Obsolete, old thing, yes?
Yeah, so objects can also be obsolete, maybe like a CD player now. Yeah, it's not so useful. We can listen to music online. Yeah. So let's listen to this clip now then.
Have you forgotten the oath that you took? I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service. You're fit enough to ride and drive, so you're fit enough to wear the crown. You remember what Queen Mary told you? Another geriatric. Monarchy is something you are, not what you do. The crown is a symbol of permanence, of stability, of continuity. If you step down, you will be symbolizing instability and impermanence. You'll also be indicating the luxury of choice, which is the one thing we cannot have if we claim the crown is also our birthright.
So you would have a superannuated old lady running the show, while a fit, energetic Prince of Wales watches on, straining at the leash.
But I don't see you as decrepit. Since the Jubilee, since Mummy's death, I see you as liberated. Confident. You say that Charles is in his prime. Well, I see you in yours. And admitted.
So why do we think then the Queen feels conflicted? Why do we think she's thinking about stepping down? Anyone have any ideas?
She was thinking that you don't have to, you can't have this choice if you are a member of royal family and she maybe thinks about herself when she was young, and she realizes how hard it was for her sometimes, and knowing that she is a representative of royal family, she was a real example for all nation, and that's why she's a little bit conflicted with herself and with the behavior of her son nowadays, king, actually.
Yeah,
No, it's of
exactly.
course serious, but everything, yeah. Crown is the first.
Right, exactly, yeah. And so when this, I guess when she's talking here, when this scene is set, I guess he's younger, right? She's thinking about maybe I should let him have his turn. Maybe I'm too old for all of this now. But of course, the younger self was saying, well, kind of, you can't just pick and choose, right? The crown chooses you. You have to do it until like your dying days, right? So that's what actually happened in the end. But yeah, exactly. So it's this conflict of whether to pass it down onto the next generation or just keep going. Do you think she should have stepped down earlier, perhaps, and let Prince Charles take over when he was a bit younger, maybe to have some fresh energy into the royal family? What do we think?
I just remembered one moment about Churchill when he had a anniversary, and Parliament presented him his picture. And do you remember this moment? He was hesitating about his position during some moments, and he had a lot of opponents, of course. But after that gift, he totally understood that he should go away to do this step because of he understood till the end what he is rather old man, and he decided to give the way for younger generations. And I think that the Queen Elizabeth maybe had the same emotions. She was hesitating from time to time and had this talk inside her. Her life and her position was so wonderful and the longest in their royal story. Right?
Yeah, she was the longest reigning monarch, right? So
Yeah,
king
the
or
longest,
queen.
yeah.
Very good. Before that, it was Queen Victoria, right? I actually forgot exactly how many years now she reigned for, but yeah, the longest ever. So you think she did the right thing, yeah, to stick it out until the end and remain queen. Yeah. I think she was even working up to a few days before she passed. I remember we had a new Prime Minister, Liz Truss. She only lasted a few days, but but she met the new Prime Minister, yeah, and then a few days later, yeah, she passed, but she was still working right until the end. Would anyone have any further questions, either about the crown or about the royal family in general, or maybe what British people think, or from my perspective? If you want to ask me anything, now is your moment. So
What the British people think about this series?
about the
The Crown.
series, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can't get enough, to be honest. We love it. But just because we probably like to be nosy or we like a bit of drama. But yeah, I do think it evoked some kind of yeah, we feel a bit of sympathy for them, you know, that their lives are in the public eye and they're born into it, right? It's not like you become a reality star and you choose to have your life published all over the news. So there are definitely moments in there where, well, for me personally, I felt really sorry for them. But then on the other hand, well, but they still work. People say, they don't do anything, right? They sit around and we pay for their fancy palaces, which is true. But they do a lot of charity work, and especially these days, the younger generations, Kate and Will, they do a lot of good things, I think. So yeah, I think generally the attitude towards the monarchy is actually, that's a difficult one to say. Perhaps some people are rather against, but some people still love them, right? So we're still divided on that, in terms of the actual monarchy.
If you were asked today, are you for monarchy or without life without monarchy, what would you answer?
My personal answer.
Yes, if this voting was today, for example,
if
you
I-
are the representative of this country.
Okay, if I could call a hotline and vote right now.
Yeah, what was your answer?
Very tricky one. I think after the Queen passed, it's not quite got the same vibe to it, let's say, because she was so well loved, right? And she was the epitome, like she had been through all these tough times, right? Lived through the Second World War and shown led the nation, through some really hard times. So I think people really looked up to her. I don't think too much of Prince Charles, to be honest with you, but he's kind of neither here nor there. But the younger generations, maybe they could bring something new for the public. So maybe they could help people like they're helping people with like mental health charities and and sports, lots of it, and young children, right? Young families. So that's important. So I don't want to sit on the fence. I will give you an I think I'm for the idea of the monarchy, but I don't like that it's using the taxpayers' money. Let's put it that way. So that's going to be my answer. Yeah. And what do you think? Are you for or against?
If I were a British, I think I would vote for monarchy because I love Kate, Princess Kate, and of course I don't know your country from inside, but from outside, I love this princess, this girl, and that makes your country special, I think.
I think the crown gives the United Kingdom stability.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe that's what stability. Yeah, for sure. Maybe it's we would. Oh, goodness knows where we'd be without it then, if it provided us with stability. But yeah, very good. Really nice ideas. So if you wanted to watch The Crown, you can find it on Netflix if you have a subscription, or if not, there are plenty of clips like I showed you today on YouTube, so you could just catch snippets of it if you like the show. Also, you can find out more information about The Crown, about its relation to the real life events, just on Wikipedia or just Googling it or something. So I really hope you enjoyed today's session. So I think that's me about finished. So thank you everyone for attending.
Well, that concludes it. Thank you all for coming. Alana, thank you for your meticulous presentation and the preparation. There was a lot more that went into it than meets the eye. So thank you for all of that. Great to see some familiar, happy faces. And we'll see more of you very soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.